generally, we've all spoken about this new normal that we're facing, and people adapting to that new normal, a new way of having relationships, a new way of doing meetings, a new way of planning, a new way of communicating, of listening. So those have been some of the key things that I've been working with people, and I've found that people can be in Zoom meetings or Skype meetings the whole day, but at the end of the day they can still feel very, very lonely and still feel like they haven't connected. And I think to help people to bridge that gap, there's probably been one of the biggest things that I've been working with people, and some of the bigger things that have come out, working with groups and teams and individuals.
Marius, would you share one nugget with the audience, how they can deal with their emotions during this time?
Well, I think the big thing is to be connected with your emotions. I find that for a lot of people, they came into the lockdown and a lot of things sort of were highlighted. It's not that the problems weren't there before. It's just that they've only noticed them now because all of a sudden everything's at a standstill. You're with the same people in the same house the whole time, and it's just you and your thoughts and you and your emotions. So I think the big thing is to realize that the things that you're probably working through or working with now have been there before the lockdown. You just didn't take the time to stand still and to reflect and to see that this is actually where my emotions are. These are my thoughts. These are my these are my hopes and my dreams and things. So I think firstly to acknowledge that those things are there. They probably were there before the lockdowns. And if new things have developed, just to understand what has been there that is new. So probably the biggest tool is then to connect with your emotions, try to understand what was there before the lockdown, try to understand what developed because of the lockdown, and then deal with it in that way, because the lockdowns are going to be over eventually again. The world might look a little bit different, but it's going to change again. So then we'll have to adapt again. So this is a new normal, but it's not forever. It's going to change again. So you're going to have to find a strategy for that. But the first thing is if there were issues before the lockdown, to not ignore them, because if they're still there, then it means that the realities and the things that are going on in your emotions and in your thoughts and so on, they are very relevant, and you have to stand still and deal with them. And sometimes, and I find that most people are able to guide themselves. They're able to coach themselves, with reading a book or listening to podcasts or stuff like that. But quite often people do need a coach. They need a psychologist or a counselor. And I think the biggest thing that I can say to people is, if you want clarity, speak to someone and get clarity. Get someone who's objectively asking you the right questions to help you, to guide you to the place where you can get clarity as to where these things come from. And I find that the solution is in ourselves most of the time. We actually know what we should do. We just need to know what the real problem is and work on the actual real problem, and not all these other things that we decorate it with. So yeah.
Marius, you're so right, and you're touching on something that I think has really been emphasized during the lockdown. And I myself have been reading a lot about emotions and so on. And what I found is that the major emotions that comes out is sadness, fear, and anger. Those three has been felt so much during the lockdown, since that started here in March already.
Yeah, definitely. And I think those come because we've all lost something. We've lost something.
True.
We've lost a way of life, and we've lost a way of dreaming. We've lost money. We've lost something, and it's a grieving process. It's sort of a collective grieving that's taking place, and I think it's a reality that we all have to work with. And the positive side for me is this, that we're all in this together. As human beings, we're all feeling it. So and this is the empathy side of me. When when I see someone acting in a specific way, when you're, at a supermarket, people are quite aggressive. I noticed, on the roads and, over the phone and whatever, people are quite aggressive. And I think it's that anger and that frustration that you're talking about that's coming out. But just to understand that that person is going through exactly what you're going through, and I'm probably also a bit angry and aggressive and frustrated when I'm, in my car or working with people and so on. So we're all going through this, and the empathy side of me helps me to understand, okay, this person is just like me. Puts me in a position where I can be sort of, create a bit of space for that person to just be. So we've got a bit of, we've got something to offer each other, and that's a bit of space. And, that empathy to sort of just be frustrated, be sad, be lonely, be those things. We can be those things with each other, and I think that's quite an important thing that we can offer each other.
Mm.